Hi, welcome to part 2 of the series of tips and tricks to get the stickers off your light being, meaning the different perspectives that people slap on your beautiful light column when you come into this earth. And it's not saying that that's all a bad thing. Perspective of your parents or the caretakers that you had when you were little wanted to make sure that you were safe, that you're happy, that you were able to communicate with them when you needed things, and that they would listen and come back and forth to you. They also gave you the feeling of congruence, meaning that the perspective that they had that you shared worked well in symbiosis, and then therefore everything would flow smoothly, and you were a certain way to these people. And then more came, and you were shifting how those perspectives interplay with your perspective of a light on your own authentic journey. And most beings here, human beings, a lot of them in your close circle, would have meant well. And there are still distortions because it's a perspective. It's been energetics come down into this window that one wants to put the energetics through. So I'm here today to discuss a little bit more about the idea of innocence. Your inner sense, your in-o sense, your in no sense. There is nonsense in no sense, innocence. There's so many different ways of looking at innocence that I'm going to show you some of the insights from my innocence and how I created joy in a stronger capacity. It's not that I didn't have a foundation of a joyful heart in my soul and my beingness, but there was a lot of perspectives that came in the way that really stuck a big sticker up on my light beam. And then, how do you say, inspired or, so to speak, their version of my existence, I guess I could say, into reality, which didn't serve me. And all I want is to have a fun, co-creative experience, and I think many people on this planet do too. So thank you for joining me, and I really hope that these little tricks and tips somehow sink and have a little bit of curiosity for you to take home. Take what you can and leave the rest. I mean, that's just life. It's an opinion that worked for me. I've had many teachers through my life experience. Isn't life just the whole idea behind it? The teacher. And I want to show up in a way in life where I, have courage, follow through, enjoy the adventures, have a full heart, a full cup, when they say that. And what that really means for me is, like, how do I anchor in who I am in my light of, the idea of light, is I think the perspective that I choose. So it gives clarity and understanding what I mean, because we all understand what light is. It's this beaming out of energetics that can, touch things. Light, if you don't have light, you wouldn't be able to see the things. But light is also in many different facets. And for this experience in the second video, breath is one of the dearest first ways that have come to me when I asked for clarity of whoever source was listening at that time. I just said, I just need to do something. I need to find who I am, what I'm here, what is all this for. It was one of those moments, like the holy fuck, what the hell. Oh, sorry. I better cut that out. So when I'm talking about breath, this thought came to me, we would have been 2000 and something. 14 or earlier, and I'd been doing already a lot of studying practices and listening to many amazing teachers and way showers about their life experience and what they what they have taken with them to help them, like living in the now. And there's so many amazing way showers out there, and shout out to them. Peace out. And one of the biggest things that came to me to really open up my subtle senses without me really like having fear that it wouldn't work, or I was really overthinking in those days. And it was, in my breath I reset. I remember I was walking one day and I was on my farm and carrying grain buckets, and I'm like, okay, like I've got my children, I've got my life, everything is lovely, but there's this piece in me that I feel there is something that needs refining and connection, or something was missing. So all I could hear in my thought was, in my breath I reset. And then the idea of the 4 in, hold 4, 4 out, hold 4 came in. And I found it, that's simple. Yeah, I could do that. And I was always so busy every day that I never gave myself the time to just, do a morning practice of breathing and meditation and all those things that hadn't really crystallized in my experience at that point. And I'm sure that a lot of you who are listening have already many different tools and experiences that work for you, and maybe not. Maybe you're beginning this journey of like, no, I know there's more, and I really want to get into the bones of this, the deepness. So in ancient cultures, from my studying, they knew about this channel of light. So there's the pranic tube, or the chakra systems in many technologies, and also the hollow bone in ancient teachings. The hollow bone, meaning that we do have bone, we have skeleton, we have the vessel, but also, if we looked at it in our physical senses, then we already have a spinal cord. And that spinal cord, let's say, could represent, in the most physical aspect, the light tube, the hollow bone, meaning there is this energetic from earth up and back down again. And quantum physics shows this. There's many, many teachings out there that I'm sure you all can look up or know about already, about what that system, or you've heard about it. And if not, like, look into it. It's really fascinating. And there's many different systems regarding how we can connect deeper with that energetic body that runs through us, and all the different parts to that. And so that's what I'm exploring with these the series, about how I was able to figure out for myself what worked the best for me. After looking at all these different ways of all these beautiful humans that have come before us, and these esoteric teachings and all the things that worked for them, were foundations that were put into place that really meant change, and also staying on the course of our own evolution into joy, into living a life of, sovereignty, and finding out more about our nature, our true nature for self, not through the perspective of another person beside us. We are alongside everyone. Everybody has their own little tube, their own life force, and their own creativity, the imagination, the curiosity for life. And it is really my joy to create community, and also to create a way that we can trust in our own systems, so we can be exuberant and share our joy with our community, people, loved ones, to show up as the best version of you that you're going to showcase for yourself. So, breath. Let's start with breath. So on lesson 1, we said, okay, yes, I use the breath a little bit, but also we let the word of innocence percolate in the system. And I asked you to kind of to take it with you and to see, did it cause tension? Did it cause fluidity? What happened on the inside? And on your day-to-day, are you wanting to continue with the breath? Well, for me, this was the best one. This is foundation. So I'm going to just stack it as we go. So it's a very simple exercise. It's in the morning or any time you really think about it. And it's so funny because a lot of the practice always say in the morning before you get started, before you get out of the day, drink your water, do the thing, get the vitamins, do the breath. And half the time I'll wake up in the morning thinking, I don't want to. I got to do my lie, I'm at the head, and I'm going to have a coffee, and then I get better at it, let's say that. But for a while there, breath was as far as I was going to get, and I wasn't even really I was getting out of bed. I had a very busy schedule. I had my family, I had a farm, I had big gardens. I was doing a lot. So in this particular season of my life at that point, the idea of sitting still was not, I had to figure out a way that life was continuing to go, but I needed to ride the life and know that I could do it on the fly. So this one is a 4 in, hold for 4, out 4, hold for 4, in, out, or hold, out, and hold. So this practice, not only are you now going to do this sequence of 4, but allow the air, what does it feel like when it's going in? What does it feel like when it's going back out of the nose? Does it make a sound? Can you feel your ribs open and close the next series? Do you feel pinched off when you have to hold your breath out? Is there any tension happening in your body when you're breathing? Or a release of energy when you're breathing in or out? So these are a lot of the different curiosities that I would love for you to play around with while you practice this breath every day. And it's in the grocery line. When you remember and you start to entrain it. What I used to do, I used to wear at the beginning when I knew that it was important. It wasn't so much that I was noticing something right away, but I was noticing. No, actually, I could say, no, I did notice right away that I could breathe more. That, how much can I expand that rib cage out? How much can I push down the diaphragm when I'm breathing in those 4 breaths? And how much can that diaphragm push that air out when I'm pushing the air out of my diaphragm? Where's my body? How am I connected to the back rib cage, to the front rib cage? How are my hips? I started to talk to myself in the way of the 4 in, hold 4, out 4, hold 4. After a while, when I asked those questions, I noticed a quicker stillness would arrive in my system. And that's where I want you to play around with that stillness of the mind being kind of active and having these inner curiosities kind of take place, but not so much information that the mind goes off on its own tangent without the heart and the body being the keepers of that breath and recognizing that, the body is moving a little bit. How am I tilted? Should I lean back? How are my shoulders when I'm breathing in and out? Until eventually the mind kind of settles, and now as I'm breathing in, holding, breathing out, holding, I can continue on to see how far can I listen out. And so I'm giving you many little things to look at while you're doing this breath. It doesn't mean that it has to be all done at once. They're just tips or tricks to see how long you can go in your breath cycles. At the beginning, I would do maybe, 4 or 5 of them. Now I actually do much longer. I enjoy the breathing in and out, but I always default back to the 4-4-4-4 because it has some beautiful rhythm that really, really served me well. I do many other breath practices and some bigger ones with breath coaches and facilitated journeys and with beautiful practitioners. So if you ever feel like you want to know more about that, please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to share with you the beautiful people that are here in community and around the world that offer these types of practices. It really gets into bringing air into every cell, and it can go on from there. You can start to, in your breathing, acknowledge your body and how far this beautiful body has carried you, what it's done for you. Like, talk about being a wingman. And now your wingman is asking for more vitality. And so with this breath and contemplation together, it's amazing how far you can take it with these two alone even. But there's always more. There's always more that you can stack onto that foundation, because sometimes you just don't want to breathe, you want to do something else. And I'm here to share with you still more and more. So there'll be more on this series. And the next one, it talks a little bit more about movement after the breath has been there for a bit, and what kind of movements are really good for releasing, this excess energetic. So I look forward to seeing you next time. And keep it breathing, baby.